Good morning and welcome to One Safe Place. My name is Ken Shetter. I'm the Executive Director of Safe City Commission. One Safe Place is a program of the Safe City Commission. This is a family justice center. This is where we co-locate and integrate all of the services we can for victims of domestic violence in one place under one roof. This is the place where we create new beginnings and write better endings of the story for people who desperately need it. We are unbelievably excited and unbelievably proud for you to join us here today. I want to acknowledge before we begin that there are dozens of people in this room that were in on the dream to build a family justice center starting 5 years ago, and it's impossible to recognize everyone, but I just want you to know if you were part of this dream at any time in the last 5 years, we love you and we thank you, and from the bottom of our hearts we deeply appreciate the help that you gave us in getting here. We're going to start the program with the chairman of the Safe City Commission. Please welcome Joel Glenn.
This is an exciting day, and I want to start with a little anecdote. ESPN got it right last night. My son-in-law called and he said, Joel, you need to watch this and tape it. And they presented a program on domestic violence, and it concentrated, believe it or not, on the victim. And they spent 30 minutes talking about the victim. And that's what we're about at One Safe Place. We're about victims. We're about hope. And it was a very emotional 15 minutes for me to watch this ESPN sports station to present this the way they did. A young woman, beautiful, with lots of hopes and dreams, lived in Vermont, moved to California, met a man in California, they fell in love, got married. 2 years later, they decided to move back to Vermont. No issues in terms of domestic violence, maybe a few arguments and a few pushes, but nothing that would indicate there was going to be the kind of things that would ultimately happen. They get back to Vermont, he can't find a job, depression sets in, he blames her, the punching begins, the violence begins. They decide to divorce. She has a job. He decides to go back to California. Then one night, she hears a noise downstairs, wakes up, goes down, and he's there crouching. And he has a baseball bat. And he beats her. And he beats her till she's unrecognizable. He then takes lye and pours it on her face and 80% of her body. They showed the pictures as she began to heal over the next, and really lucky to survive. They kept her in a coma for about 6 months. And they showed the picture of this extraordinary woman as she fought for her life. Always in the back of her mind that she was gonna survive and that she had hope. And hope was around baseball. Hope was around football, because that's all she could do was listen to games. And I think that's one reason ESPN did this, but it had so much broader consequences, I personally think. And she did survive, and they finally gave her a face transplant, and she was able to go to a grocery store and people not just stare at her. And as the face is developing, it's beginning to develop things. Can you smile? And she would work a smile in. And in that face, I saw beauty. It's not your normal beauty that you see, but it's the beauty of hope and power and courage. And that, again, is what this is all about here. We're about cultural change. We're about hope. And one more thing. And I wanted to write it down. She said at the end, they asked her, well, how do you feel now? How do you feel about where you are in your life? And she said, this was all I had to copy. So, life doesn't get easier. you just get better at it. And that's what we all strive for in life. We just get better at it. And coming from her, you know, the tears began to flow, and I thought, man, you know, I don't have any problems. I just need to get up in the morning and get better at it. So thank you all for coming. We've got some neat folks here today. I wanted to thank specifically my board. I've got a who's who on my board, and I wanted just to mention their names: Rosa Navahar, Patsy Thomas, Lynn Roberts, who's done wonderful work for us, D. Kelly Jr., Matt Rose, who we greatly appreciate, Mike Berry, who we greatly appreciate, Julie Wilson, Tim Carter, Dan Feehan, Lisa Fortson, and Rhoda Bernstein. So thank the members of this board for bearing with us and getting to this point, and the growth of this institution, this place of hope, is amazing, and what they're already doing with this collaboration. I have to thank the Bass family for allowing my time to work on this program, and particularly Ramona and Lee Bass, and Lee, your patience, your vision with us to get to this point. We've paid for most of it. It's a pretty fancy building, but it gives these folks that come in a great deal of dignity as we sit them down and try to help them navigate and have hope in their lives. And I also have to thank Ann Marion and the Burnett Foundation, and obviously the heads of the foundations, Pete Guerin and Neil Zagather, who have been instrumental in finding the funds. And you know, this is truly a partnership between public and private entities. We're raising the money with private funds to build this extraordinary facility, and the police department has moved in here, the district attorney's office, our various partners from Safe Haven to Ladder Alliance and others, I know I'm leaving out some, have moved in here, and they are collaborating. And as you walk through the building, this building was all kind of chopped up in different, those of you that were here in the 70s, into little rooms, and it's now open. And that's where collaboration opens up, when someone from Safe Haven is talking to a police detective who's working on their problem, when someone from the district attorney's office needs to walk and talk to both of them. They're over here in our professional building. Our victims are over here. They're going to come to them, where these folks are not sent to places all over the community. So it's a great thing for Fort Worth, and as a Poly boy and a Fort Worthian, I thought I'd put on my cowboy hat. And we have a great history here. We are gonna do this right, just like we've done all of our other great institutions and things to come. So again, thank you all for being here. I'm going to turn this back to Ken and Lee Bass. I love you, man. Thank you.
So Mr. Glenn mentioned that this is a really nice place, and thanks to our donors and contributors, and to the contribution and the design process of everyone that works here, it is a nice place. And if as you walk through, and we would invite you to go for tours, our staff will be available to help guide you through the building when we're done. If as you're in this building you're wondering, does it really need to be this nice? It's a $20 million project. Did you really need to spend $20 million? I'll just explain it by quoting one of our clients. We had 250 clients walk through the door the first 3 days that we were open. And one of the first ones we had said this to her intake, the person that was doing her intake. She sat down and she said, I feel hopeful, I feel safe, and for the first time, I feel respected. And she said that before anything was said to her, before the first question was asked, this building respects victims of domestic violence in a way they historically have not been respected. I want to recognize now the sponsor of this morning's event, Verizon. And I would like to invite to the podium Michelle Miller, who is the regional president for Verizon. I also want to thank David Russell, the vice president for external affairs, and Barb Walker, who is also the director of external affairs. Verizon has a tremendous history in doing great work in this area, and we're proud to be associated with you. Michelle.
Well, good morning and congratulations on this beautiful facility, One Safe Place. And you're right, the victims do deserve this. And I'm pleased to be here with all of you. Verizon is pleased to be a sponsor for today's ribbon cutting. And it's exciting to see this dream come true. A conversation I heard over coffee and a vision 5 years later come to life. It shows that by all of us working together and dreaming bigger, we can create safer communities here in our community. Creating safer communities is important work, and it's one that we take seriously at Verizon. We've been committed to this cause for over 20 years, and over 20 years driving increased awareness as well as prevention. We've also given approximately $80 million in grants to really support this cause. Happy to tell you that this year alone, here in Texas, we've given over $220,000 to agencies to fight this cause. In addition to cash grants, Verizon donates used and refurbished cell phones. We give these out to domestic violence agencies so that they can provide to their victims, and we do this through our Hope Line program. We have used our dollars, we've used our products, we used our network, and we use our voices to make our communities safer. I think that you all have that same power to use your voice to make a difference every single day. Together we can create that safer society as well as in our community. We're here to celebrate with Tarrant County as we take a collective stand for all of those that have been victimized by domestic violence. And it is my pleasure to present to Safe City Commission a check for $20,000 to celebrate the opening of One Safe Place. So
For many years, we've been lucky to receive the support not only of our private sector partners, but of a lot of public sector agencies as well. So going back to the beginning of the discussion of this project, when Mayor Moncrief and the council at that time provided us unbelievable support, and we went to cities all over Tarrant County. I see Mayor Cook here from Mansfield, and we have asked for support from all of our public agencies to provide the foundation for our operational funding, and we do that today, and we're now in the third year of funding from cities and from the county, and that's what makes this work. And so that partnership is unbelievable. And Mayor Price, since she was elected, has just carried the ball for us, has been there every step of the way. We would not be here today without not only the continued financial support from the city of Fort Worth, but particularly without the moral support of Mayor Price, and without her taking every opportunity she can to get on the bully pulpit, tell our story, and do everything she can to get victims of domestic violence here where they belong. So it is my, and I don't get the honor of introducing her, but I had to say that. Chief Halstead gets the honor of introducing the mayor. And so it's my honor to introduce him. He's the man that came to us when he first got to Fort Worth. One of the first things he said is, "Where's the Family Justice Center? Take me to the Family Justice Center." I said, we got some talking to do about that. Chief Halstead.
If you could just join me and look around this room, take your eyes off the front and look at the support, look at the people, look at these amazing leaders that came forward to make this day a reality. You know, this is Texas, this is North Texas, this is Tarrant County. This is us, and this is what we all believe in. And this morning, young children went into school. Some of them saw abuse last night. Some of them will see abuse tonight. And that generation will be the generation that we will impact and change their course so the cycle stops. We have an amazing team here. I could not be more proud of our police leaders and the community support, and those of you that work in those service capacities. You're amazing. I can't find the words to describe how proud I am of all of you. And I'm very, very honored to introduce the Mayor of Fort Worth. And before I introduce her, I wanted to say how important the public-private partnership is. One of the top 3 calls for service that every police officer around the country goes on is a domestic violence call. And they scare the heck out of us. We have no idea what is going to happen when we knock on that door. But we do know it's going to impact us, and it is going to greater impact those behind that door. You all are making this a reality. And from day one, literally her first week in office, I was briefing Betsy, my friend, and now Mayor Betsy, on this project, and she wanted to know a lot of details. She is detail-oriented, and within minutes, she voiced her support. And that speaks volumes for what we are going to accomplish day forward. One of the hardest working people I have seen in our city, I know this because we provide security and safety services for her, and she does not stop working. Literally, her and I were on the phone all hours of the night, Thursday and Friday night, coordinating stuff. It's an honor to introduce the Honorable Mayor of Fort Worth, Betsy Price.
I think he's trying to tell me that I'm wearing his officers out. They seem to be rotating through on me lately. It's so great to see so many of you here. You know, this really is what makes Fort Worth so incredibly special. Former Mayor Mike will tell you this is the best part about it. The people involved who care. And One Safe Place is such a critical partner for not just for our city. David Cook, as Mayor of Mansfield, gets it. We live in a global society, and we live in a big region, and we have to be regionalized, and people will come here from all cities. And it's important that we bring those agencies together and have a chance for people to see. It's a shame that we have to be here and that we have to invest in this. And one day, maybe we won't. But family violence knows no borders. I've seen it in co-workers of mine. I've seen it in dear friends of mine. And it's not, people tend to think it's lower education, it's lower socioeconomic. It's not. It can occur anywhere, and it has to be stopped. And One Safe Place can go a long way towards stopping that. They've worked hard for 2 years now in the trailers across the street, and I've been over there several times, and the agencies there and the kids who are there, the things going on have been phenomenal. To watch it mesh together. There were some missteps, Joel, early on, but as typical fashion for this group, they righted those and got them right. If you haven't had a chance to see the building yet, you have to see it. J.C. Penney's has an incredible clothing closet there for Dress for Success, because many people re-entering the work world don't know how to dress. And sometimes it's how you look that people begin to take you a little more seriously. It's a lot of hard work that has gone into this area to raise the awareness, to help partner, to make it happen. That public-private partnership, when I have the opportunity to travel on behalf of Fort Worth, people always say, what is it that's happening in Fort Worth that's so special? And I always say, it's the private partnerships. Nowhere in the world is there a more philanthropic community than ours here. And I had breakfast yesterday with our friends from the National Family Justice Center, and you should have heard them raving about this program. They said this will be a model program for the nation. We will bring other people here to see your results and to see what's going on. The impact on the community is going to be easy to measure because we're going to see a dramatic drop in it. We're going to see kids do better in school, mothers who are back at work and feeling more secure about themselves, and fathers who are getting the help they need. One of my favorite quotes, and many of you have heard me say it, is Margaret Mead's quote, and it's so true in this case. And Margaret Mead said, "Never underestimate the power of a small group of committed individuals to change the world, for indeed it's the only thing that ever has." And each and every one of you are a big piece of that small group. Thank you for your commitment. God bless each and every one of you, because it's worth it.
We have one more person we're going to have some remarks from, and we have two great friends that have spent the last 2 days with us from San Diego, California, Casey Gwynn and Gail Strack. They are the international leaders of the Family Justice Center movement. Casey Gwynn was the first one to figure out that if we bring all the services together in one place, if we fully integrate the services so that victims don't have to go all over the place to get what they need, if they don't have to tell their story over and over and over again, and if we fit the services to their needs specifically, then we can save their lives. He did it in a big way in San Diego, and then he was on the Oprah Winfrey Show, which of course made him famous. And then President George W. Bush saw what he was doing and said, "This is a model for the country," and they tapped Casey and Gail to spread this vision throughout the country and the world. And so we became infected with this vision a few years ago. What you see here is the vision of Casey Gwynn and Gail Strack. And so it's my honor to invite Casey Gwynn to the podium.
Well, thank you, Ken, and thank you all for being here. Today, you are making history. Today, what's happening in Fort Worth, Texas, and in Tarrant County is going to send waves all across America and around the world, because today you're opening the largest, most comprehensive family justice center in the world. Congratulations. I get it, by the way, it's Texas. But what will happen here in the months to come is you will become a beacon of hope, not just for the city of Fort Worth, not just for Tarrant County, not just for Texas, but for communities across America and around the world who will come here to see you, to learn from you, to visit here, to figure out how to do this at the scale that you have envisioned here. Because you are creating something that can truly do both prevention and intervention, that can work at the top of the cliff and work at the bottom of the cliff at the same time. Because you'll never break the cycle of family violence in this country or around the world unless we deal with before and how to get to before while we're still serving the people at the bottom of the cliff. Because in America, we raise our criminals at home. And the vast majority of people that you lock up in Texas and in the United States of America come out of homes with some mix of child abuse, domestic violence, and/or drug and alcohol abuse. The vast majority of people you lock up for all crimes. And we just finished a study, by the way, looking at who kills police officers in America. Do you know who kills police officers? The vast majority of law enforcement officers killed every year in this country are killed by men with a history of domestic violence. And a large percentage of those men have a history of strangulation assault against their partners before they later either kill their partner or often kill police officers. So if we're gonna save the next generation, if we're gonna break that cycle, we gotta do it together. And this is, as Gail Strack has said, the power of we represented in this room. Not just the Bass family, not just some corporations, not just the government, not just a few agencies, but everybody coming together in one place, building the framework that's going to allow you to change the world. And then finally, I just want to say something very personal today. Some of you know my story. My grandfather abused my grandmother, and my grandfather abused all 8 of his children. I have 2 suicides in my family because of family violence. I grew up in a home where my father did to me what Adrian Peterson did to his 4-year-old son. And I've put people in jail for what my father did to me in the name of discipline, because my dad did to me what his father had done to him. So this is personal to me. I made a decision that I was going to break that cycle in my family, and I never hit my wife in 30 years of marriage, and I never actually even hit my kids. It was too dangerous for me to use discipline, physical discipline with my kids, because of what my dad had done to me. But I stand here as a child who has been impacted by this, who can tell you I can point to the people in my life that came together to love me and care about me and give me hope. And you're right, Joel, it's all about hope. This place will be a beacon of hope, not just for Texas, but for the entire country. You are part of a beacon that will change the world for generations to come. And I have little doubt that a decade from now, we will look back on this day as a watershed event in the Family Justice Center movement in America. And you all will have made that happen, and the world will be different because we're here today. So God bless you all. I want to say thank you for your work. I want to say that as we do the ribbon cutting in just a moment, I have asked Gail Strack to cut the ribbon on behalf of the National Family Justice Center Alliance with the mayor and the rest of the dignitaries, because Gail Strack was the first person in this country to prove that this works. She brought together 25 agencies, and she was the director of the San Diego Family Justice Center, the first family justice center in America. And I thought it was about the building, and I was wrong. It's about the people, and it's about the relationships. And Gail proved it in San Diego. And now you've taken the vision that Gail and I had, and you've put it on steroids. You've put it Texas size. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for all you're doing to make a difference in the world. Blessings.
So just before we cut the ribbon, I want to take up where Casey left off. It is about the people. And so the job of Safe City Commission was to build this building, put together the partnership, we do the initial intake, and then we kind of manage the integration of services. But there are dozens of agencies that have been doing this work long before we have. And they've been doing it heroically. And those are the people, the Safe Havens of the world, Ladder Alliances, the Fort Worth Police Department, the people that have always been on the front lines. They have agreed to come in here and join together under this roof and provide their services here. And so if you work here at One Safe Place, would you please raise your hand? These men and women are heroes. They're real honest-to-God heroes. They have a superpower. Their power is to change the future, and they do it every day. Now, I would like to invite some important people to come join us to cut the ribbon. Joel Glenn, in our first video we did, said when we open the doors to One Safe Place, the community will be safer for all of us. So let's officially make that happen today. Mr. Glenn and Mayor Price, y'all are going to have the honor of holding the big scissors together. Mr. Liebass, would you do the honor of helping us?
And I notice we're being very regional.
Chief Halstead.
Did you say that?
I did. And
Mayor Sherry's got to get his plug in.
well, now I'm going to tell you, we couldn't find a Chamber of Commerce in Fort Worth with big scissors. And Burleson's a partner, but the president of the Burleson Chamber said we were welcome to turn the scissors over. Michelle Morgan, who is right. Michelle Morgan is the director of One Safe Place. Gail Strack, the CEO of the Family Justice Center Alliance, the National Alliance. Casey, I have scissors for you too. We can't do this without you. Casey Gwen, please join us. And there's another person who works for the Bass Companies, John Joyce, who has been a tremendous asset to this project. We couldn't have done it without him, and so he's going to join me in holding the ribbon. So, John.
Kim, one other thing. John, I really appreciate the work that you did. You have another job, and you gave your time and your effort and extra hours, and Grant Summers and gave extra hours. And I meant to mention a little bit earlier, really thanks for all you've accomplished. Of course, Michelle Morgan, wherever you are, there you are. She's very special.
So this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the United States of America, and purple is the color for domestic violence awareness. That's why we have a purple ribbon. So on 3, together we'll cut this ribbon and we'll open these doors and make the world safer. 1, 2, 3. Our staff is going to be available for tours. If you would like a tour of the building, Michelle Morgan will help coordinate those. And then also for members of the media, we have suspended service this morning to give you full access to the building as well. So you're welcome to take a tour to the building. And there are a number of us that are available for questions. Thank you very much. God bless you all.